Welcome everybody, my name is Blake, or you can call me the Campaigner, and today we're playing the next match in my Road to Commander on Advanced Warfare. This should be episode 8, and I want to talk about the total, community of, the next-gen games. So, and this goes beyond just Call of Duty, the main AAA titles. It goes across the games in general, and how they progressed through this generation. And I am playing this on the 360, so I can't say this isn't technically from personal experience. This is more from just observation and interpretation of what is out there. So what I've noticed is that the games generally aren't receiving as well or as high of reviews, and it's kind of concerning because we were all so excited about these new generation, the new consoles, and then the products that came alongside it, the games, just didn't really seem up to par in comparison to our hopes and expectations, which is kind of like a life lesson for society in general. Don't expect too much of something you don't know too much about, because all we heard were stats. We just heard, oh, the PlayStation 4 has this kind of specs in relation to the Xbox One. It's better for these reasons. The Xbox One is better than the PS4 for these reasons. Then you have the people who say PC Master Race, none of it matters. And so, basically, the quality of games that we were expecting, we were really anticipating, haven't really been there. A lot of people had high hopes for the Assassin's Creed games, and generally it's been received as more of a flop. It wasn't necessarily a bad game, but it wasn't as high of a standard as we would have wished for. So that's kind of like, okay, well, give and take. I mean, that game, one game in the series can flop, that's fine, but when it's a whole collection of games in the generation, then you start getting a little bit worried, okay, well, how are the developers making the games? Why are they making them this way? Stuff like that. So that could be, excuse me, that could be definitely said for the Wii U. I definitely don't want to exclude the Wii U, but the Wii U is kind of a different breed in comparison to the other two. I feel like they try to make it a little bit more family friendly than the other ones. The other ones are more competitive, even though I'd say Xbox is the most competitive in terms of how it's marketed, and then it goes PlayStation, which is a good middle ground. I believe the PlayStation has a good middle ground community, which relates to competitive players to the more casual gamers, and that also puts into consideration the Blu-ray application, at least on the PS3. I don't remember, to be honest, if the PS4 has it, but those type of things that were incorporated were something that just set the tone for what kind of console it was. The Wii U, when it was released, had a very, very bad kind of, the titles were just not great titles. They weren't things that caught people's attention, so they didn't get a whole bunch of sales at first. Now, as of the end of December 2014, they had a great year, maxing out on the amount of units sold of all time for the Wii U. And so, because it has its titles now, it has Smash Bros, it has Mario Kart, and it's coming out with Mario Party, which is fairly popular, aggravating as all heck, but it is what it is. And I'm sorry, I ate a chip. I felt like it. It just tastes so good. And, so you have these different kind of consoles that are coming out, and you have all these different, I don't want to explain this. You have these different consoles that are out. Okay? They have a unique style to them. They have their unique components that make them appeal to certain kinds of people. So, when you have these games that aren't reflecting great great gameplay, or mechanics or whatever. People don't want to play those games, and then they just have their console sit there. And for me, I look at like, okay, well, the Sony and Microsoft, they already got their money, so they don't really care. Like they did their job in producing the content or the capabilities of their respective consoles up to the point in which they did. Now it's up to the game developers, the producers, whatever, publishers, to produce good games. Listing off some of the games that were expected to be great. Sunset Overdrive had a lot of hype to it, but I haven't heard anything about that game since it was like 1 week after it was released. Like it had its moment where it was just like, yeah, this game is great, and then it seemed to have just like died down, and I'm like, well, what happened to it? And I honestly want to know, like, did they come up with like DLCs or something? Did they have different kind of did they add anything to it? But I don't know. I'll probably look it up eventually, but I mean, like, how did they what were the sales looking like, and then like how did it progress? Did they have DLCs? Did they have like a season pass type thing? Like, what else was there? Or was it just the single game that had its own mechanics and gameplay? So were they adding add-on stuff like that? Titanfall, another game like that. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was. It came out on the Xbox One specific. Like, I don't think it came after. I could be wrong. It feels like it's been so long since Titanfall came out on the Xbox One and all that stuff. So, Titanfall was another game that had a lot of hype because it was such a unique game, and then where it just flopped, and we're like, okay, I guess so. I mean, I really had high hopes for that game. Destiny, same thing. Like, it had a good game publisher, developer, producer. I don't know what their title is, but the high hopes for that game. It looked like a unique game, looked like a quality game that you could play for a long time. Some people say it has no replay value. It has no campaign, supposedly. That means I can't play it. Just kidding. But I mean, stuff like that. It's like you had so much hype. You did so much advertising for that game, and then it just flops. I mean, how? What went wrong? Are you trying to make patches to fix it, to make it better, more playable, more accessible? Like what? Is something happening? Is basically what I'm asking. Are the developers making their games better, or are they just leaving them as is, as flops? I mean, Assassin's Creed, you can't really do too much with that. I mean, you can make really good DLC, but that's just about it. You don't really have the ability to go in and change the mechanics of the game. Like, you can't change the storyline. So, I don't know. I mean, for me, it's just an observer. Again, I haven't played all those games, so I can't speak too much about it. This is just from general observation and just some of the ideas that I have. So, like, if I had the knowledge, the technical support, mainly the time, I would go and make a few games if I could. Like, you give me like 2 words. Okay, give me more like 5 words. And like different kinds of classifications, like give me a genre, give me a one like theme, like a 1-word theme. Like, I could get you a game. You just gotta give me the little components, and then I just run with ideas. But not to say that that's what's happening or that's what should happen, but the content needs to be there in the future, and we can only hope that we get some good games coming up here in the next year. There seems to be a lot of good games coming out. Final Fantasy is one game I heard. What's it called? The next Batman game, like Arkham City, is coming out. the next Witcher game, I believe I heard was coming out. Legend of Zelda's coming out. I mean, there's some good quality games that are coming out in this upcoming year. So we can only hope that they are solid games. They have great content. They have a great storyline if they're storyline driven, and that it helps push us into the right direction for the community again, because some of these games really just don't have that replay value, which is what we're looking for. Like, when you buy a $60 game, you want to buy a game that you can play for a long time. I found games on Steam that were indie games for like $2 that have more replay value than some of the games I pay $60 for, and it's like, what? I paid, oh my, I don't even know what kind of fraction that is, like 3% of the total price of the $60 game, and I got a better quality product? Whew. All right then. But shout out to those indie game developers. You guys make great games. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed the conversation, the gameplay. I had a really rough start, but I think I did pretty well in the end. I don't remember, what was my score? I think it was pretty good. Was it pretty good? Almost 10k. So I mean, that's alright. That's better than most of my games. So again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. If you guys have any opinions on the topic, please let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you guys later.